We're live. Hey guys, we are here with Bethany Shadburne. I guess technically Bethany Flores, if you look at the leaderboard right now, and John
I
Young.
changed it 2 hours ago.
There we go.
Yeah, so if you're looking on the leaderboard, it is no longer Bethany Shadburne. You got married a few months ago, right? So now it's Bethany
actually,
Flores.
I got married last year. I got married
Oh.
last year in June. And I'm behind as far as like doing all the name change process, but started that. And I literally just got my passport in yesterday. So
Nice.
I was like, okay, now it's official. I can start changing everything. So I will be Flores at the games.
All right, we will say that as much as possible then to get everybody to say that.
Yeah, I had to email the CrossFit support and hopefully they can change it for like they said they can change it for the jerseys that I wear on the floor, but they're not sure because it's Noble for the retail if they're going to be able to change it. But I was like, whatever. I mean, everyone knows me as both. Yeah. So well,
your shirt says Flores and your nameplate says Shadburne. That's going to be rough.
That'll be confusing.
Oh, look, Tyler's healthy enough to watch, but it sounds like he's along with the Northbound Pig, south end of Northbound Pig, something like that. So he is out sick today. So it's just the three of us to start this off. So
Bethany's going to make her predictions for Europe. She's going to be a part of the whole team. Yeah, right, Bethany.
Gosh, I don't even know who's competing. I mean, I kind of do, but I was like, I'm so bad with CrossFit. I don't really like follow it.
Yeah.
Neither do we.
Well, if you look at my picks from this past weekend, I probably looks like I don't either. So, so you live in that area, right? Were you able to live at home or, compete over the weekend and sleep in your own bed or?
I wish. Unfortunately, we're like so close yet so far because in California, there's always traffic. So we're only like 20 to 25 miles away. But with traffic, it's so unpredictable that it could be a 40-minute drive or a 2.5-hour drive. So we decided to just stay there and pass. Okay. Yeah. Right. I wanted to stay at home, though, because home court advantage, sleep in your own bed. When I have to like travel and pack, like it's awful is because I bring so much stuff. And so even like trying to pack for Pasadena, it was like a 4-hour thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad.
Well, it's been a wild, I guess, last 12 months or a little bit longer with you being out last year and now coming back this year. Watched you kind of go through the Open and quarterfinals, and it looked like kind of a roller coaster of whether your back was going to cooperate or not. Can you kind of, for those who may not have followed, kind of share that journey and what it was like leading up to semifinals?
Yeah, I mean, so it kind of started last year. Well, let's back it up all the way. So I've had back issues since I was 12. So this isn't anything that's new. It's just bulging discs, like a very common thing if you look at everybody's back. And it's something I deal with every single year. Last year in 2022, it just happened to come at a really bad time where went out during quarterfinals. So obviously that took me out for the whole season. And usually in the past, it's like 6 to 8 weeks and I'm fine. I can kind of just make it through whatever. And unfortunately, for some reason, it's been like a 365. I've been in pain since quarterfinals last year. I've had like good spouts, but overall, pretty much 365 pain. And so even when I came into this season in January, I kind of like looked at my coach and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the season. It's just going to depend on luck. It's going to depend on the workouts. And I'm just going to have to see how my body holds up. So obviously that's kind of what happened with the Open and quarterfinals this year. Probably I would say my worst placements ever. I don't know, other than like maybe 2015 when I started. But I was honestly at that point just like really happy to even be able to do any of the workouts. And with the Open, it was, especially since you don't know the workouts until the week of. It's like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. And then the workout would come out and I'm like, okay, this is doable. I think I can do it. So that was kind of like the theme all the way up until semifinals. And it was the same theme at semifinals. Like I thought I was going to have to pull out at any given moment after any event or just like stop in the middle of the event. So I was kind of unfortunately at peace with that, but I wanted to make it through at the same time. So
yeah, we did our picks for who was going to go through, and I don't think any of us had you in, but not because of your
Thanks,
not because
guys.
of your ability.
Bethany,
but it was more.
Bethany.
Let
me explain.
Okay, John, you can explain.
So you've said it yourself. You're so hard to pick for like where you're going to be in the competition, because we like what you just said. You could withdraw whenever you're back. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know the workouts. And when we made our picks originally, we didn't know the workouts either. We had chances to update them, but we just never did. But it's never a doubt of your fitness. Like the what year was it, Brian, where it was only 5 people? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that one word, so I don't want to say it.
2020.
Yeah, like 2020, I
But
think
the
I
flu.
predicted you to be 3rd place,
wow.
podium. I thought you were podium material. I know Brian Friend thought so too.
I was not. I was
we
not good that year.
we were so excited to watch you because of freaking West Coast Classic. You murdered everybody, and we were so excited to watch you. And then we didn't get to, and then 2022 happened, and then so now it just makes it very, very hard for people trying to pick positions.
Yeah.
It's like you're one of the hardest people to pick for. But
You got to just gamble. You got to
It's
gamble.
never a doubt of your fitness. It's not like it's just you're back, and you know that too. You know what I mean? I know, and I know you can respect that.
For sure. No, I'm just playing with y'all. Yeah, it's a gamble. It's like I wish I didn't have these issues and dealt with back issues, but yeah, it's just a part of my story. And I think a lot of people deal with back issues, which I think is great for me in the sense of I can show that you can still make it with back issues. So hopefully that continues to be my story, but yeah, it's rough. I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not.
Is there anything that sets it off more than anything else?
It kinda, I mean, it's kind of unpredictable, honestly. Like it was set off like 2 weeks before semis this year, deadlifting above my knee off of blocks. And I like literally couldn't put on my socks last week before semis. I was like, I don't know if I'm competing.
So Linda was scary then for you?
Yeah.
But this year I would say it's more like squatting, and obviously anything heavy like barbells I have not touched a lot this year. And so I would say mostly it's heavy lifting, but it could also just be something random like, I don't know, picking some trash off the ground and then my back just like goes out. And I'm like,
that doesn't make it any easier for us, Bethany.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. But that was like one thing my coach asked me when I started with her in October. She's like, is there like a theme? Like, do you know like when there's like a tendency for it to go out? And I was like, yes and no. I'm like, I kind of know, but then there's other times where I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm done for the next 2 weeks. So
yeah, Beth Evans, Annie Thorisdottir had similar back issues back in the day, and she's been.
I mean, Emma Carey a year ago too. Like you're not wrong when people struggle with it. Katrin's had back issues too. A lot of top tier people have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you said, and you're now with Training Think Tank, right? With Perrin.
Yes, with Perrin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's awesome.
How's that been since you started with her?
Yeah, she is a really awesome coach. I've always wanted to work with like a female coach, but there isn't like a ton in the CrossFit world. If you think about it, you're just like, who? Like Michelle Latondra, maybe Tasia.
Jeff Adler's wife.
Oh yeah. And so it's just like, I don't know who I would work with. And then Alexis Raptis actually lived with Perrin for a year, and we were really good friends. And so she was kind of telling me about her, and I was like, I mean, I'll definitely give it a shot. Like, let's see. And yeah, it's worked out really well, and she's been a really great fit for me.
Mm-hmm. When you saw the workouts released, did you have any fear of like, these are not going to be suited for my back? I mean, obviously, like Linda is not the best one for you.
Yeah. So my initial thought when I looked at them, I was like, oh my gosh, like if I was healthy, like these would be great workouts for me. Like I love all these workouts. And so I think even having that type of mindset of like, oh, like these are great workouts for me if I'm healthy. Maybe at my 80%, it's going to be okay kind of thing. And that's kind of how I
let off the pedal and still be fine.
Yeah. And that's how it was kind of with quarterfinals and the open. I was like these are decent workouts for me. Like I should mentally, I'm like, okay, these are good. So that kind of gets you in like a more positive mindset. But at the same time, there was a question with each piece of semifinals of whether I was going to be able to do it, whether structurally I was going to be able to hold up, and how I was going to feel afterward. So obviously with the first event, that sled, I mean, I tried it maybe once in practice at like half of the weight, and I was like, my back. I was like, oh no. I was like, this is not good. So I just was like, well, this is going to be a game time thing on the floor. I'll know after the first pull if I'm going to be able to do this workout. So I lost a lot of sleep the night before. I think I slept like 1 hour because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this sled. Yeah. And then with the second workout, it's like pistols and burpee box jump overs.
That's your jam.
Haven't done those, and I can't tell you when the last time. I think I did one pistol with the ruck on like a week before, and I was like, okay, yeah, I got it. And like 5 burpee box jump overs, and I was like, we're good. I'm not gonna waste my capacity with those. But yeah, so there was like an element with all of them where I was like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to have to rest on my laurels a little bit. And I knew that I could do everything. Like you were saying, like my capabilities to do it all, it's there. Like I've done all the reps. I've done all the numbers. Like I've put in a lot of work over the last 7 years. So it was just that, are my abilities right now going to meet my capabilities?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Was there ever a point where you did feel your back start to tighten up during one of the events?
The only one was Linda, and it was during the round of 9 on like the 5th rep. I like felt my back for like a millisecond on the way up, and I was like, just keep going, you're fine. But somehow, some way, the entire weekend, my back was fine. It doesn't make sense. If you look at what I did the last 6 months, if you look at what I did the last year, how much pain I've been in, like it doesn't make sense.
Maybe you just needed a semifinal to make your back feel better.
I guess. No, I mean, I'm a strong Christian. So like the only way that I explain it is that God's hand was like over, around, and through the whole thing. Like it doesn't make sense. It like literally does not make sense. So I was at a loss for words basically after the last event. I was like, I don't know how I did any of this. I don't know how. So
did you surprise yourself in any event specifically?
Well, I haven't snatched over 145 pounds in 2 years. So I was happy to hit 175. And I was wearing running shoes. So that was even better. I was wearing Brooks the entire time.
It's great snatching shoes.
My doctor has me in these like specific Brooks right now that helps like, I guess, like keep my back in alignment of where I need to be as far as posture goes. And so I just wore them literally for every event. And I was like, okay, I can snatch 175 with Brooks on. Okay.
Yeah, because you only thrustered 157 in the open, and then you go out and snatch 175.
That wasn't because she couldn't thruster more though, Brian.
Yeah.
Was it? I mean, obviously your plan was just to get through the open,
Yeah.
right? Just advance each stage.
Exactly.
But you see that, and it's like, the progress that you've been able to make over the last few months has been very, very good.
Yes. My coach would be like, I don't know how you did that because we didn't do any of that in practice or training. So, yeah, it didn't seem like there was any real progress going on in training. I was able to kind of like push as far as like a little bit of conditioning, but even like 3 weeks up till semifinals, even monostructural stuff was hurting me. So I couldn't really ski. I couldn't even like push on the echo bike because of like rotation. So, yeah, nothing adds up. Let's just put it that way. Nothing adds
If
up.
anything,
So the whole
though,
weekend surprised me.
that makes me feel better about the games then, because if God had a hand in semifinals, why would he not have a hand at the games?
Why not?
You know what I mean?
Why not
Like,
me?
that doesn't logically, that makes sense, right?
Yeah. So you should be a betting man, Let's gamble a little bit.
I might. I'll be more betting than I was in semifinals.
No, I mean, honestly, I think at this point, like for me in my entire career, I've always had a really like low self-esteem and self-confidence in my capabilities. And after West Coast, it definitely was built, but after this weekend, it was built a lot more. Like, I have a lot to give. It's just there has to be a lot of things that line up. And I think if those things line up, why can't I get on the podium?
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why I can't. I just need to have like a runway of being able to consistently train. But the mindset's there. Like, I've gotten to work on that piece the last 2 years. And that's, I think, the only thing that got me through even semifinals this past weekend. So that part is super strong. That's never been better. So it's just allowing myself to have some consistent training and get into those fifth gears, because I definitely didn't have that this weekend. I was like, I'm walking, guys. I'm sorry. I'm walking.
Yeah. When and Richie Rich here, were there any events that you backed off or stuck to a plan knowing that you could have pushed harder, especially as the week went on and you were more secure in your position in qualifying?
I would say all of them, honestly. Like, I just didn't have it. Like, even the first event, I was like, my conditioning is not where I would like it to be. So I could like hear, the announcers talking back and forth and bantering like, oh, this person's getting ahead of Bethany or whatever. And it's like, you got it. Go on, go.
She's going to keep on getting ahead of me too.
Yeah, I don't got it. And so I just kind of felt like that the entire weekend. Like, I could tell, like, I'm going to watch myself on all the events. Like, that's what I'm doing right now, because I just want to see how slow I was moving, because I felt like I was moving slow, but I just knew that it was like a long weekend. I didn't have the conditioning aspect of it, so I wasn't sure how well my body was going to recover. So I just was like, all I have is like 80% to give. So that's what you're going to get for pretty much every workout.
And just make Randy carry Bella for the next few months there. So
should that scare the field then?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should scare. It scares me. I mean, I'm like, wow, okay, if I can do that.
Me. You had this confident answer, then you backed off of it.
Yeah, like, it scares me. No, I mean, it just kind of goes back to like, okay, like, if I'm going 80% and I can have some consistent weeks of training leading up to the games, like, it's gonna be good. Like, it's gonna be awesome. So that's all I need is some consistent training.
Have you talked to Perrin about what training is going to look like for the next 2 months?
We're actually gonna have a phone call probably in like 2 days, but I think for me, like, I don't know how much strength I'm going to be able to do as far as like lifting heavy. So it's just kind of closing the gaps on the conditioning aspect. And I've enjoyed like the last 2 games because there's been a lot of running and I love running. So it's kind of closing the gap on some running, and wherever else I can at this point. But yeah, I think for me, I have to kind of keep the same theme this year, which is, unfortunately, like less is more, and just let my body run its course and really listen to when my back isn't feeling good. Because I think in the past, I've kind of connected like threshold pain, like, oh, this is hard, I don't want to push anymore, with like injury pain. And those have kind of meshed together in my mind. And so I've had to like rewire a lot this year of, okay, when I actually feel pain in my back, I have to back off and not push in. It seems silly. You're like, duh. But it's really hard when you've trained your body to do that and push through pain for, I mean, since gymnastics, since I was like 5. That's what we were told to do. So, but my back will no longer let me do that. And so I have to separate the two. And it's tough. It's tough every single time I'm in the gym. It doesn't get easier.
No, I think a lot of top tier CrossFitters struggle with that, like finding the line of if I'm injured or if I'm just being a punk and I need to push through this.
Yeah.
Like you have to think you are literally, you're one of the fittest women in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like one of them, right? And that's not going to be, I feel like that's really hard mentally to be like, oh no, I got this. I'm just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 You never want to think that you do got it, because you never know like what other people are doing. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you really have to just stay in your lane, because you don't know what's going to happen at the games. There are just too many variables that, I don't know. It's just, you just have to stay in your lane when you're training, and you can't look at what other people are doing.
Yeah. It was fun to see you back on the competition floor again.
Appreciate it.
I know I saw you out in person in 2019, and you know, when you had the top 10 finish there, and
yeah,
unfortunately the last couple of years has not been your friend. And
even in 2020, oof, I had so many injuries leading into the games. I was like, I hope this doesn't happen. I was like, I hope this doesn't happen.
But then you just got in the wrong car in 2021, and
Brian.
Anyway, is there anything that you just don't want to see at the games? Is there anything
I mean, I don't want to see a 1 rep max anything. Like, I don't want to see that. That would not be great. Even if I'm like super healthy, that's never like good for me. Is the 1 rep max anything? So, none of that would be good.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I don't know. I'm game for anything. I love not knowing the workouts. So I want more of that. I hate when people can strategize before the events and know how they're going to game plan a workout. I like knowing the workouts like an hour before, and it's like you just have to figure it out on the fly. Or even like Chaos. Chaos was one of my favorite events of 2019. Like, you
and
knew
people either love or hate that event.
Yeah.
There's never it was all right.
No, it's either you hate it or you love it, and I loved it. I was like, let's do this again. Let's do this every year.
Yeah, that was a wild one to watch. I can't imagine being on the floor and not really knowing
it was fun.
What's up next. So
it's probably hard to pull off, like logistically, for none of y'all to know, and then but for us to know as viewers.
Yeah. Or the judges.
Yeah.
One hiccup, and that's
the judges don't know the reps. I don't know what you're supposed to do right now. Like,
that'd be so bad.
It looks like you're supposed to pistol. I don't do some of that.
Yeah. Well, Bethany, I appreciate you jumping on, and congratulations on qualifying for the CrossFit Games once again. So,
yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Good luck on your training, and see you in Madison.
All right. See you there.
Have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Guys.
All right. It's just us now, John.
Is Tyler going to hop on or no?
It doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. So just us.
All right. We can talk all the trash we want about him.
So we have his picks, though. We do have his picks. So
Tyler, are you in the comments? Can you at least try to defend from the comments?
He's gonna need to.
All right, you want to pull them up, Brian?
Yeah, let me give me a second.
Or do we want to recap last week first?
Yep, I have that. So let's see. And all right, we're gonna start with the North America West here. All right. Well, I think the North American men was pretty good, honestly. We missed out on our last two. I surprisingly missed out on Fikowski. He had a great week.
That's probably the worst one out of everybody. Would we agree with that?
Yes. When you finish second and I don't have him in the top 9, that's probably a big miss. But I mean, he even said he outperformed a couple of those events than what he thought. Of course,
yeah,
he wasn't going to miss the top 9 based on everything else. But yeah, he did well. He showed me up.
I missed on Cole Grayshaber. Had an amazing weekend. Tyler also missed on Cole Grayshaber. Out of all those, I mean, I missed. Who did I miss out on? Other than Cole. Cole Sager, and he was my 10th pick.
Yeah. Colton. That's why Tyler's not here, because he didn't pick Colton. Yep.
Dang, Justin Rose and Colton being out versus Fikowski. Chat, which one's worse, having Fikowski out or having Colton out and Justin Rhodes in? The Justin Rhodes in is what makes that so bad.
He was close, though.
Let us know in the chat which one's worse, Fikowski out or that scenario.
I mean, Justin was close. If you could have,
what was he?
The 14th, I think it was.
Oh, I thought he was like 30th. Man, he had some really bad finishes.
Yeah, I think he was in the top 15. He was up there. So.
Just not having Colton out, it's a travesty, though.
Everyone loves the big train. So. No, Colton was fun to watch him. It was great when he jumped on Saban at the end of that and had a quick little interview. So that was good to see. On the women's side, I do have to say I picked Alex for the winner, and then it went downhill.
A lot of red over here. Man. I didn't think I did that good, to be honest. I didn't think it was like that. That's pretty embarrassing.
We're gonna stop at the podium and say that I got 2 out of 3, and then
you did call Alex Kazan, and that's big.
Yeah,
that's big.
So at least I got.
Where did Freya Mooseburger finish? Can you tell me that real quick?
Closer to the bottom than the top. So, oops. Yes, John did crush it. Thank you. Who was the one that you didn't?
Oh, have? I don't have. Hey, Spiegel didn't make it. Why is that not marked on mine?
Oh, I missed it.
There
you got 2 wrong. Yeah.
There you go. I got So, I didn't. Yeah, come on. I killed y'all already. You don't.
You still got it. You still got it. So.
I think I had Katrin higher than everybody too. Tyler had her at 8. Katrin was probably the most impressive performance.
Yeah.
Olivia Kerstetter, I'm the only one who had her.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much had almost everybody, which was.
I'm trying to think. You had Kelly Baker. That's a big one. Tyler didn't have Kelly Baker. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, y'all didn't get very many right, so it's hard to say you did good or anywhere.
Yeah. Finishing 3rd 2 years in a row isn't that bad trend. I know he's no Zuckerberg, or she's no Zuckerberg. I guess he's talking about Fikowski.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Jeff, he finished 16th at the games last year. He was sliding down. He was going backwards. And
they said Vellner was going backwards too. Who won that? I'm the only one who picked the winner on that. You did
pick Vellner. I never thought Vellner's been right up there, but Brent's just not been Brent the last year.
I mean, if you think about it, I didn't believe in him either. I had him 3rd, and he got 2nd.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we can move on from this. I didn't know it was that bad, Brian.
I thought it got bad. I started marking these out and I was kind of embarrassed. So hopefully this is a little bit better in Europe. So, all right, we'll start with the men.
I beat Brian Friend too, Richie Rich. I only copied him on the Asian women, okay? And if y'all tell me you know all them Asian women, you are lying.
100%. Yeah, there's maybe 4 or 5 that I know of and could say with any certainty what they're decent at. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, the men. Tyler and I have Lazar Djukic, Jan Koski, and BKG. It's like we copied each other's homework. You have BKG, Lazar Djukic, and then Moritz Feibig. So what are your thoughts on BKG winning it all this year in Europe anyway?
It's more of the event than him. Honestly, if you look at the way they've competed, Lazar and BKG are neck and neck, like for everything. Mm-hmm. If BKG finishes 7th, Lazar is 8th. If Lazar is 7th, BKG is 8th. They have been neck and neck off any competition they do. They're right next to each other on every competition they do. And I just think the events suit BKG more than they do Lazar. BKG is amazing at handstand push-ups, and he's very good at gymnastics. I think event 6, he's going to crush. I know Lazar will be good too, but I think BKG is just better at handstand push-ups in that particular workout. Pulling the sled, I think BKG is going to pull the sled better than Lazar Djukic. That's the only thing for me in that one. Lazar should have the edge in the second event. Mm-hmm. He should. But if you look at the European men, maybe Jan Koski beats BKG too. Other than that, I don't think anybody's beating BKG. I just think they're close together in that workout. The snatch, I think there's going to be a gap between BKG and Lazar. I think there's going to the run. Lazar should beat BKG, but again, that one's been kind of weird. And that one's been kind of weird. It's been surprising who's done well and who's done bad in that event. And then event 7, I think BKG will be right there. I think his power output's better than Lazar. I might even give Lazar the win in that one, but I think BKG will be right there. So the stuff that Lazar's going to win, I think BKG will be close. The stuff that BKG is going to win, I think there's going to be more of a gap between him and Lazar. That's why I did my picks on who's going to win with that.
Yeah, I will say, looking at both the men and the women in Europe, like picking just 11 was tough. Like there are some potential.
The European men, I think, were the hardest to do.
I think the women were too, but the men definitely was very, very difficult. And so the Savon podcast COS.
Well, let's get to it. Brian or Tyler might have picked the oldest.
Yeah. I think we may have him in there, but just not the top 3. He finished 3rd the past 2 years. Are you talking about the at one of the previous semifinals? There were 2 of them though, so just finishing 3rd would mean that you're probably top 6 at that point.
And this is a different event than what oldest is used to with the European regions. Like this Europe had two, right? The Berlin throwdown and then Lowlands.
Yeah, and strength and depth.
So 3.
Well, they had 2, but they changed.
Gotcha. They have 2. This is them 2. That are combined this year. This is a harder field than oldest has had to go against, and I think it's going to hurt him, specifically in these events. But I mean, we'll get to oldest when we get down to the last people out.
Yeah.
You want to explain your
22? Yeah, 21-22 when there's only a smaller field.
You want to explain your reasoning
on Lazar? I think he can neutralize the sled with BKG with just his endurance piece of it. I think he will go out and win the first event or the second event on the Burpee box jump overs. I think event 5 with the run, he'll be in great shape on that one. I think he'll hang on number 6, and I think he can win 7. or at least beat BKG. And so I think it'll be close. The hard part is I don't see BKG really falling below a top 10 finish in anything. So Lazar's going to have to do very, very well and take advantage of his strengths, and then minimize some of those where you can't do poorly in one that BKG does very well in.
I mean, I think the snatch is almost a given.
Potentially, yeah. So it'll be tough, but I'm pulling for Lazar.
Regardless, I do think the margins are going to be very, very small. Explain now. Yonakoski over BKG is probably the bigger talk about.
So I did go back and I looked at what quarterfinal events best correlated in the East and West to say how well they did in the overall finish. So if you looked at the quarterfinals in the East and the West, how did those line up to the overall finish in the semifinals? What was interesting was overall for the men, it was events 4 and 5 in quarterfinals.
And what events were those?
So 5 was the it finished with the rope climbs, and then 4 was the long one,
the GHD rope one.
Yeah, but it differed in the East and the West. So the East had a different correlation than the West, but overall 4 and 5 were the two that were most important. And Lazar and Jan did very well in those. So it's kind of more of a mathematical numbers pull than it is feel. So we'll see if that plays out. So
okay, that's your reasoning.
That's my reasoning. That Jan, yep.
So
did,
go ahead.
Yeah, Koski did well in 4 and 5 in the quarterfinals, and I think he can pull it out.
Okay, I don't think, and this goes out to you too, Tyler. You need to come on. If your temperature, his temperature is 100 degrees, guys. That's it. It's only 100 degrees. He's fine. He's fine. He's in the middle of the southbound pig. He's not even at the north. Okay. I don't think you can use quarterfinals or previous competitions to rank at the top. I think it is strictly the workouts and how you think the top will do at the workouts. When I say the top, I mean like the top 5. So, and I don't think you can use quarterfinals or the open or anything online. I really don't think you can use anything online to rank in live competition. I don't think it means anything. Now, when it comes to like movement quality, obviously we know in live competition, Laura Horvath is not going to do as good at handstand push-ups. We know this. We know BKG is good at handstand push-ups from live competition. So like movements, I think you can use. I do not think you can use previous finishes in online events when you rank people in competitions. And I think this hurts you and Tyler. Tyler just uses the computer. If he wants to combat that, he can come on and tell me. But I think he puts all the names in his little machine, and then he says, this is what's going to happen. All right? I don't think you do that, Brian, but I do think you use quarterfinals in the open. I think you look at those finishes and think, well, this guy should do good here because he did good here. And I don't think you can. They don't correlate. I mean, I believe you whenever you're like, this event correlates the most to who's going to qualify where. But when it comes to the top, you cannot do that because
so my correlation
in the workout.
My correlation focused on the top 20, 22 men or women based on how far down I thought somebody had a chance of getting in. So it didn't go all the way down to the field of 60 because I think the bottom half skews that significantly. There's a huge difference. So I did look at the top 20 so athletes to see how they did in comparison. I do understand the online nature of it. It's obviously different. So we'll see. I think Koski will be right up there, and could he edge out BKG?
I mean, this is why you predicted Fikowski not to make it, because he never does the online stuff.
At least I am in.
I can't hear you. You're going in and out.
At least I have him in, and not sitting out.
That is fair. Yeah. Okay.
So Tyler,
go ahead.
Tyler over here, the old guard are doing the best. Lazar's on the come up. That's why he's first. Yana isn't bad on strength, and he's really good at skills. BKG will be a fight for Yana, though.
Okay.
John makes some good picks and is just talking mad shit. Love it.
All right, you want to go to the next 4, 5, 6, and we'll talk about Moritz.
So here's the next 4 through 7. So I don't know why Tyler doesn't have Moritz anywhere. Just a Moritz.
Well, it's because Moritz Fiebig hasn't done very many competitions in the past, and the computer doesn't take that into consideration. That's why he has. That's why he has Bjorgvin Karl so high, because Bjorgvin Karl does a lot of competitions, and the computer says that. That's why he has Alex Catoulis so high, because Alex Catoulis does Dubai, and Dubai has a lot of endurance. It's known as the competition that values endurance the most. Alex Catoulis is like 150 pounds. Okay, he's a little guy. You think Alex Catoulis? I don't know if Alex Catoulis is going to be able to pull the sled.
I don't have him on the top 7.
Oh, I'm talking about Tyler.
No,
but he does a lot of competition, specifically Dubai. And that's why in Z-score he ranks a certain way, right? Yeah. Because he might be a better runner than Ricky Garrard, straight up, and better than Lazar. He dominated everybody in that, and I think 2019, like beat Fraser by like 5 minutes in the desert run, where you ran a 4K in a vest and a 4K without a vest, like it's back to back. Dominated everybody. He might be the best runner in CrossFit, but he's not known because he's not top tier. I don't think he's made the games. Has he made the games? You know, Brian?
Who's that?
Alex Catoulis.
I think so. I think he's made it once.
I mean,
it's probably in 2019.
Okay, we can't even count that. I just like that's why he has Alex Catoulis up there. And he needs to get away. I love Z-score, and I think there's a place for it. And we like, as far as like, man, one event this guy would have been on because he dominated everybody. And I think we need that. I like to verify the placements with Z-score, so it's fun when at the top. I don't think so. Like when I don't think Hopper beats Adler. I don't think you can say that. And Z-score said that. So I don't think it's for the top. But I do think it's for, wow, Spiegel would make it on Z-score. Guy would make it on Z-score. Well, that's a super valid argument. I love Jeff. Use Jeff Giardina's comment. That's the greatest comment. I mean, everybody made it in 2019. Man. 2019 doesn't matter. But you can't. It puts out Alex Catoulis being 5th place. It needs to be worked on. Whatever equation he's using, it needs to be worked on. And I'm sorry, Alex, you're great. You're not gonna get 5th. If you get 5th, I'll bet $100. I bet anything you want to bet he doesn't get top 5. Okay, let's talk about your top 5. You want to talk about Fabian Benito and Moritz Fiebig? Yeah.
So Fabian has shown promise. He's strong as heck. I mean, he can lift a house. My only concern is his skills aren't there yet. So, you know, he's done all of the off-season competitions. Didn't he win? He won Dubai, or did he lose out to Moritz? Either way, they came 1, 2, or 3. It was like between him and those two and Fikowski. And I'm taking him as kind of improving year over year and kind of riding off that success. Moritz, I think, is one of those guys who has well-roundedness, not quite to the BKG level, but he's going to be able to do everything pretty well. And I think Henrik Heikkinen, I think these kind of suit well for him. his height, his build, his strength. I think those are going to kind of line up. And Georgios is he seems to kind of just keeps doing well and is one of those guys that you don't think of, but he is strong when he is. So you have Luca in there. Thoughts on, or both you and Tyler have Luca. What made you put him up there in 7th?
I agree with you. I'm gonna talk on top of what you just said. I agree with you about Benito. I don't like him as much as you like him, but I agree with all of your points. Super strong guy. I think it'll be a roller coaster of a weekend for him. Brian Friend said this earlier, and I think it's wonder. I completely agree. So he said it first. I didn't say it, but I think a lot of these guys, you could say 3rd place on to 9th. You're going to have home run events, and some are going to be high, and then you're going to have events where they're going to be low. But there's really strong guys that are going to do great in the power events and are trash at gymnastics. And then there's a really good gymnastics guys who are trash at strength. Mm-hmm. And so it's just going to keep flip-flopping, and then we're going to see what comes out on the end of it after 7 events. So it's going to be fun to watch because there's going to be constant flip-flopping between events. And I don't think anybody's really going to separate themselves except the top 2, and those guys are top 10 fittest guys in the world, right? Yeah. You could probably throw Yonikoski in there. I just think some of the events hurt him a little more than Lazar and BKG, and I'm banking that Moritz and Heinrich have I think the events just bode well for them. Everything you said about Heinrich Hapalainen, I agree. What's funny is I look at Heinrich like a less fit Fikowski. Yeah. I think anything good that Fikowski murders, Heinrich will also murder. He's just the ring muscle up workout. He's not getting 4th place, and Fikowski did. Those type of workouts will hurt Heinrich, and Fikowski is just fitter. He always comes out and whatever he does, puts his professor look on it, and I don't really buy that much into it. But Fikowski is fitter in those events where you think this is going to hurt taller guys. He somehow finds a way to manage where he shouldn't be good at, and he ends up being good at. Heinrich cannot manage that. So I look by anything Fikowski's good at, Heinrich is also good at. Yeah. And there's a lot of events that Fikowski absolutely slaughtered. He's 2nd place. He beat the fittest man in the world. You know what I mean? So and there's value there. I mean, that's why I think Heinrich's. I have him 4th. I like him more than everybody else here. But for the exact same reasons you said, Brian. Yeah. I think Moritz Fiebig is the same as Fabian Benito. He's a very powerful guy. The reason why you like Fabian Benito, I like Moritz Fiebig, and I just think Moritz is fitter.
And maybe a little bit more polished. I think Fabian has, if he can pull all of it together, I mean, he's just very a raw athlete. I think if he can pull it all together, he has that ability to get maybe potentially podium. But I could easily see 4th or 5th all the way down to 11th, just a complete mix back and forth throughout 100%. The time.
Yep.
I don't think any of these guys are immune from being challenged and being in the mix going into Sunday.
100%.
So,
and you guys like Yorgos Karavis better than I do. I have him in, but just later on. Yorgos, he never does as good in semifinals as that he does in European competitions. Mm-hmm. Or he usually does okay in Dubai. In other competitions, he usually does well. But when he's against top competition, top of the line competition, he usually doesn't stack up as well. So I just have him lower. I just have a feeling he's going to be lower. I still have him in. But I don't like him as much as you guys. I'm sure the computer says he's great because of the competitions that he specifically does. But he would not produce in the games what he does in European competitions. And the European semifinal is going to be more representative of the games field than any other competition that he's in. I think it's going to be Luca's coming out party. I think Luka Djukic has been fit enough to make the games the last 2 years, and it just hasn't happened. I know he got an invite and then he turned it down. Can you explain that situation for everybody that doesn't know it?
You're talking about Lazar?
Or Luka?
He was in 21, wasn't he?
In the games?
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought he turned it down.
Pretty sure it was Lazar that did that. Let's pull it up here. Games leaderboard. I was pretty sure it's Lazar that wanted to focus on it. He turned it down.
No, I think Luka did the same thing though.
Did he turn it down as well? I know Lazar did it because he wanted to. He just didn't think he was ready.
All right, you know what? Maybe it was the last chance qualifier, and like he didn't care to do the last chance qualifier. It might have been something like that. I'm pretty sure there was an example though where Luka had a chance to make. Go ahead.
Yeah, Luka was in 29th in 2021. So he has made it there, but I think Lazar was 2019. I think he did not go.
Turn it down because of that was when everybody went.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think Luka has made strides in his training. If you look at his Instagram, all he does is lifting, and that's what he needs to be doing.
That's what he needs to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I think he's hammering his weaknesses right now, and Lazar and Luka have both said Luka is a better runner than Lazar, and that's kind of hard to believe because Lazar, we see him as one of the top runners.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Ricky is the best runner, and then I would say Lazar is right there with him. Like they're 1 and 2. I just think Ricky's a hair better than Lazar, but Lazar is right there with him. Reason why I said, I mean, the Capitol is a great example. Lazar beat everybody in the Capitol to the bags. But I mean, I personally think Ricky could have beat him if he wanted to, if it was just the run.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Luka he's done a lot of competitions in Europe, but the reason why is because he can make money at them, man.
A lot of those Europeans, I mean, there's competitions every week, and they can make some money, and it feels like Europe is about, I don't know, 7-8 years behind the U.S., where there's just competitions all the time, and those guys are just enjoy competing and having fun and make some extra cash on the side.
That's a wonderful point. I agree with you. I would probably say 5 years, but like what's the trend with CrossFit 5 years ago is kind of what's happening in Europe, which is but I think Luka is going to do really well in this semifinal. I think he's going to make it comfortably. I think he will be in a spot where like he'll have ups and downs, but he'll always be kind of comfortable as far as his placing. Kind of like Olivia Kerstetter. Like Olivia Kerstetter, I thought would have more ups and downs than she did, but she was never on the bubble. She made it comfortably. The events she should have done bad at, she did do bad at, but not bad enough to where it ever made her close to the bubble. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen with Luka.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that it also depends on the type of field you're competing against, right? I mean, if you're the odd one out, you can drop down way down on the list. We saw that with Guy over the weekend. He got bit on the first workout and was unable to claw his way back, even though he could snatch a house.
And in Guy's situation, did he have the opportunity to go east and he chose Brazil?
Well, he would have had to do the exemption process.
But there was a good chance he would have gotten it, right?
I think so. He had been there. He was filing for his visa. He got that, I think, in the time.
And now it's in the chat, but I don't remember correctly. He would not have made it if he was in the East as well with his times, correct?
I'm trying to think. I know
Bailey
would have. I think Guy would have made it in the East. Barely.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure they said he wouldn't have made it either. Okay. Here, you go ahead and talk. Let's do the next. Let's do the next one. Yep. I'm going to look that up.
All right. And so the last four in, John, there's your Georgios Karavis. I have Alex Katulis. Starting to regret that pick after listening to you. We'll see. Luka Djukic there. I think it's then Tyler on number 9 and you on 10, Bronislaw Olenkowicz.
Mhm.
The dude in Jeff over here asking, can anybody snatch 300 pounds? Yes, Bronislaw can snatch 300 pounds. Probably
Didn't
from a
stand
high
on one
hang.
leg after.
Yeah. Bronislaw, that's his event to lose. I wanted to pick Bronislaw. His gap has always been the fitness side of things. Anything power, strength based that doesn't include any type of heavy breathing, he crushes. But when it doesn't, he falls down the leaderboard really, really far. I know he's been working with Kotler the last, 6 months or so. And I'm sure Kotler's just been telling him, stop lifting and focus on all the skills and all the conditioning. I just don't know if it's going to be enough in a short enough period of time to make up for those shortfalls. So I was surprised to see Tyler pick Moritz and Henrik the last 2 in.
Well, the computer doesn't say they're going to do good, Brian. It doesn't matter what events there are. It doesn't matter that these events stack up really, really well for them. And Heinrich is basically Fikowski light. The computer says that he's not going to do very good.
Yeah. Anioli Kai.
Mm-hmm.
What's your rationale on that? He struggled at Wadapalooza. He's had good events in Europe, but Wadapalooza was not an impressive showing. What have you seen from him?
Can I defend Bronislaw before? You
Sure,
kind of just trashed him and said this is what he is.
Yeah,
and then you yeah, okay. So I said this on the Sevon podcast too. I just think the events stack up really, really well for Bronislaw. I think Kotler, I believe in Justin Kotler. I think he's one of the better coaches out there. What he did with Ricky, like Ricky got 3rd in 2017, and I never thought, I could have never foreseen Ricky getting 3rd again. And he did, and he looked fitter. Like the field has gotten fitter as a whole. I know there's no Matt Fraser, and Matt Fraser is the fittest guy, and he would win every year. But other than that, the rest of the field has all gotten fitter. And for him to get 3rd again and then win Wadapalooza the way he won Wadapalooza, beating Bellner, beating who else was in there, Brian? There was a lot of games people at Wadapalooza. It was a games level field for the men. Bellner just sticks out to me. Mm-hmm. But Ricky would have had a serious shot to win this year. And I believe, it's him doing it, but Kotler's helping him along the way. I just believe in Justin Kotler, and I think Bronislaw will have strides this year. I also think the events stack up really, really well for him. If the sled is anything like it is in North America, then he has a huge advantage on the sled. And he's going to the sled that's supposed to be the endurance event is going to end up being an okay event for him. So an event where he would get 40th on, he's going to get 15th. That helps him so much, right? And then event 2, that freaking ruck, it makes the muscle ups more muscly, right? I did the event, and I don't have a big kip, and I felt really good with the event. And I've seen people struggle that would not struggle in regular muscle up events, but they have a really, really big kip. Bronislaw falls into that category. I think that ruck only helps him. No, his fitness is not going to last with people like Yona and Lazar and BKG, and they're going to burpee way more than him. But everybody that's not, like that's an event where he would get beat by more than half of the field, right? Yeah. I don't think he will get. I think it'll be another 15th place. And then, around there, give or take a spot or two. And then event 3 is Linda. You're telling me he's not going to kill Linda?
He should do well on Linda.
right? And I mean, he
Right.
might not win because he's not fit enough, but third, you know what I mean? Danny Spiegel I would equivalent him to Danny Spiegel in that workout. So I could see
top five,
right,
easy.
top 5 event. Already he's in what, 4th place by this point? 5th place?
I think he's probably right in the middle, 6th, 7th.
Okay, 6th or 7th, right before the snatch.
Yeah.
That should be a win, if not very close to a win. And then 800 meter shouldn't be great. It's probably going to be bad. I'll give you that one. We got 8 snatches to do really fast, though. He'll do them 8 snatches faster than everybody else. But I'm hoping for a
slog through the run.
Yeah, a Kerstetter-like performance on that 800 meter run. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm hoping for. He'll get hurt on that one.
And on the gymnastics, number 6.
He's good at gymnastics, man. He's very good on his hands. He's got very good handstand endurance. Those handstand push-ups are not going to hurt him at all. The legless rope climbs, he's probably not going to be great. But again, it slows down everybody. Kind of like Colton Mertens. Y'all thought he would struggle a lot, and I was like, he's going to almost win this event.
Mm-hmm.
Who ended up right on that? I feel like Bronislaw is the same, and it's different, but it's the same. And like Olivia Kerstetter murdered it. Katrin murdered it. I think Bronislaw can do something similar. When I say murdered it, I know they got like 12th place, but that's murdering it for them.
Yeah.
It's only 4 legless rope climbs. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I think he's going to be okay. He's going to manage through that. I know he's good in his hands. And then the 7th event, if it's on the line and it's power output, I think he's going to be fine. That's an event where I think he takes it to the field.
I see like the last event, though, it feels like it's more turning into a toes to bar workout.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you can do your toes to bar unbroken, you have a huge advantage and you should beat everybody.
Mm.
But I don't see him getting 30th place on it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like if he gets 3 20ths, 2 top 3s, and 1 bad placement.
Yeah,
I think that's good enough to make it.
My guess is where I have them and where you guys have them is probably separated by no more than 8 or 10 points. Like it's going to be close.
Do you have him like the last one out?
I think I have him in the last one. Yeah.
Now Brian Friend had him like 19th.
See, that's crazy.
So,
I don't see that at all.
I don't either. But he's probably the best analyst out there.
If you go back a year ago, I would probably agree with you. Right?
Agree with me or Brian?
I would agree with Brian a year ago, right? Like he didn't have a whole game to be able to get there, but I think he has enough now that he's going to snatch easily over 300, take a top 5.
Oh, I don't think easily. I think
so?
I know. I mean, I think 300's upper end for him.
No. Uh-oh. There you go.
Yeah, I'm back. I think so. He's. I don't think I've ever seen him snatch 315. He snatched 308 before a couple times, but like what he has in the bag at a given moment, I mean, a 295 for sure, and he probably will do 300, but I don't think it'll be easy.
Okay. All right, and then Anioli Kai, what do you see in him?
Oh, I mean, I just think he has and again, we're at the bubble, right? There's going to be ups and downs with everybody out in the bubble, and it could not go well for me. But he's 6'2". He's got that long body. I think that's going to be good for the sled. So I think he's going to do good there. His endurance is top notch. I think
endurance, yes.
Did he win the Burj Khalifa event? I believe he did.
Second. I think he got second.
Who got first?
I don't recall, but he did not win it. It might have been. Was Karavis there?
I don't. Karavis is always there. Regardless, he did very well.
He was way up there. Yeah.
His endurance is top notch. I think he could win event 5. And I think he's going to be very good at event 7. And event 1, I think is going to go better for him than people think. Now, can he pull off a Fikowski-like event too? No. But that's why he's 11th and not second.
Yeah.
Right? I think he'll have ups and downs.
Yeah. Alyssa, we're missing Tyler. He's feeling like the north end of a southbound pig. So probably for not picking Colton this past weekend. So, all right.
Well, we gave him the swine flu, and that's his punishment.
I had Brussels down to 14th. One guy, Caleb Clements, is kind of a out there pick. He's done well in some of the off-season competitions. He beat Luca in Madrid. So the fact that he could hang with Luca and beat him in that event or that competition, I feel like he has a chance of being in the conversation and kind of a little bit of a flyer pick there. The last one's out, or first one's out. I have Aniel right there. You have Sharunk and Fossa, two huge guys. Oldest, Enrico. I don't think Enrico's big enough to make it.
I don't either.
And I think same with Nikita Yundov. I think all those guys are just a little bit on the light end that are not going to be able to make it.
And I feel that way about Oldest too. I know Oldest routinely makes, and Oldest is fit enough to make it. I just think the events are really bad for him. I mean, he's going to not do well at the snatch. The shoulder to overhead event in the CrossFit Games, he knew he was going to get last place. Right. And if you know you're going to get last place, what hurts him in this field is that it's together. Mm-hmm. Right? So there is too many people that can snatch 285. And he's not one of them. So when he snatches 260, that's a 30th place. And it's just not like you can't have that and make it.
Yeah, you can only have probably two events below the 30th spot, but you have to crush the others. Yeah, in a field that's this tight where everybody's trading off points, you can't do that.
And the one event that he could win, he's got to snatch 185 8 times first. Right. So if he has to snatch that and their power one, they have to be unbroken if he's going to win it. Two, the people who can cycle 185 versus actually snatching it, standing up. You know what I mean? That takes like 5-7 more seconds. And yes, you probably will still beat those people, but you're not beating the BKGs. You're not beating the Lazars. So people that you could beat, you're not going to. So that hurts your home run hits. In the sled endurance event, I would pick Aldous. Aldous, one of the best endurance guys out there. He's not going to pull that sled up good
until that sled gets stuck.
You know what I mean?
If it flips under, he's done.
All of his greatest things that he has, his greatest abilities, all have this hindrance to it, right? And all those hindrances only benefit the people like Bronislav. It's opposite, right?
Yep. So that goes into saying it depends on what the field is like, and if you can't make enough points on the ones that you're favored on, you're done. So, any last comments before we move on to the women?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Podium for the women. All have the same three, a little bit different order. We both have Laura Horvath. You have Annie Thorisdottir, Gabby Magala, and so those three. Is there any reason why you have any?
Yeah, event 6.
That's it.
That's it. I think Laura legitimately could beat Annie at 6 of the 7 events. And the one event that she doesn't will make Annie the winner.
Do you think? But it's only 20 though, and she did pretty well. Granted, the tape line was wrong or whatever.
It's not just those. I think Annie will go to the whole. I think Annie's a great handstand walker. Great handstand walker.
She posted on Instagram.
Right, And Annie is very good. She's good enough at handstand push-ups that the 20, she's just going to create a gap on that. And I think she'll get up the ropes faster than Laura. I think there will be a gap between her and Laura, a significant gap. Say Annie gets 5th and Laura gets 15th. That's what I think will happen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For every Laura first, Annie's going to be second. Right? If Laura gets second, Annie will be 4th. Like I do every single event that I think Laura can absolutely crush, Annie is also going to absolutely crush. She's just a little less. Right? Like that's where do you see Annie struggling? What event is going to make and the ring muscle up workout, taking a little bit of a leap on this because I know I beat it to a dead horse. Laura has that huge kip on ring muscle ups. And I think it's going to hurt her. I would not be shocked if Annie beats her in event 2. And a regular ring muscle ups, I don't think she would. But I wouldn't be shocked if she does.
I think Laura will get her pretty good on 1.
Okay, hold on, time out. Who's coming in between those though? Who else is beating Annie in event 1?
I'll give you Gabby. I think there's enough women that are able to slide in between to get.
See, I don't. I think Annie's going to be right there with her the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's that. And I mean, if she's not, then obviously, she'll be less than Laura, right? But my reasoning for picking her first is that I think she'll be right next to Laura. Yeah, she did 2 reps.
I saw that same video.
Two reps. Okay. I put it on Instagram. I did the whole 5 reps unbroken. If you're able to do the whole 5 reps unbroken, that's what you would put on there. That only makes me feel better because she did 2 and the video cut. Right? If you're able to do 5 unbroken, why would you not put that on Instagram?
I saw that video. I was not impressed.
I mean, those 2 look smooth, but if you are able to do the whole 5 unbroken, wouldn't that be what you put on Instagram?
When I saw it, I was concerned about what the 4th and 5th reps look like in the second round and what the third round looks like.
And this is my point. I think girls with the big swing, guys too, there's just not a lot of guys that have the big swing. This ruck really hurts. I've seen it across all of the 2 weeks so far for everybody. But anyway, that's my reasoning for picking Annie. I think Annie will crush Linda. Laura might beat her at Linda, but I think Annie will crush Linda. Snatch event, Annie's around 200. Laura's probably around 210. I don't think very many girls are in between that. For the run, Laura might get her in the run. That might be like what does me in, right? Laura, there might be a gap between that one, and then that's enough where that 6th event doesn't hurt her. Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
7th event, I think they'll be neck and neck.
Yeah. I think these 3 are the 3 that are going to be on the podium. No questions asked. They're the ones that
I don't know. I think there'll be a question with Gabby. I think she will be third. So? I think she will be third. I mean, I know you have her second. You believe in her more than I do. But I just think Gabby's not. So if Laura does bad in event 6, who also is doing bad in event 6? Gabby. And I think she'll still get third. I just think the gap there's going to be some girl who's just great at all the events. And Gabby's fitter, but there's going to be some girl that it just works out great for. And go ahead.
By you not having Laura in first, do you think that she doesn't have a chance to win the games?
None. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like I'm saying, no way does this affect her games at all.
Just the semifinals.
Yep, it's just I had Adler over Roman. Now I know Adler kind of dominated, and that surprised me. It surprised me. But I thought the events were really good for Adler, and I thought Roman was going to get hurt in some of the events. This is exactly what I think with Annie and Laura. And you know how much I love Roman. I was going to pick Roman to win the CrossFit Games before this semifinal. Now I have to rethink things because freaking it didn't go. It wasn't great, right? Right?
Yeah.
But Laura, if she gets second, now if Laura gets 4th,
changes it.
Gonna have to rethink things. But if Laura gets second, Annie beats her just because the events were a little bit better for her. And Laura's going to be my pick for the CrossFit Games. It's and very easily. I don't even know if Annie's second or third. I haven't dove right into it, but
Here it is.
It doesn't affect
You
the CrossFit Games.
you just convinced Alyssa. You got her on board. So.
All right, good. I ranted long enough to convince somebody. So,
all right, 4th through 7th. All right, things start to get a little bit interesting here. All of us have Emma McQuaid, Karen Froyova, all in 5th place. Jackie Dahlstrom's all in it. So Tyler has Matilda Garnes, you have Emma Tall, and I have Sarah Sigmund's daughter. I guess I'll ask you, why not Matilda Garnes in 4th? I probably the same reason as you.
She could get 4th. I think like 4 through 8 are all they all could be jumbled up. It's just going to be who ends up performing the best. What is your reasoning for Matilda Garnes? Matilda Garnes should murder the gymnastics stuff.
She should, but the strength piece I'm very nervous about. I worry about the first event, her not doing well. I think the Linda bench press is going to be a struggle.
See, my reasoning is Linda. I think the snatch she'll hold her own. There's not enough strong women in the European field. It's not like the North America West. There's not 6 people who can snatch 215. Mm-hmm. And I think whatever she puts up will be fine. It's not going to be great, but it'll be fine. But that's why I don't have her 4th. You know what I mean? Like 4th, you kind of killed it the whole weekend. After seeing where I'm pretty sure Brian had her 4th. Brian Friend.
Okay.
I have to go back and look, but
yeah, I just look at Rogue and the back squats. She got 1 rep or 0. So the strength piece is definitely.
He had her 5th.
Okay, close enough. The strength is where it's going to get her, right? And if we're talking about being strong and powerful, that's not a winning recipe. So I struggle with her pick this week. I think if she gets through, she's fine. But based on this programming, I think she has to just murder number 2 and number 6.
Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of like the men's field. Once you get past the top 3, and I agree with you, it is a solid 3. It should be like a tier unto itself. Mm-hmm. I just think, Emma might do a little bit better than we thought, or Jacqueline or Matilda. Like it just, you know what I mean? I just think that 3 and 4, I think will be closer than you think. I don't think it'll be a runaway, but I still predicted the same thing to happen. Like the men, I think this will be a roller coaster of things. Like you see, my next 4 are like Emma and Jacqueline should murder the gymnastics pieces and murder the body pieces. They should murder event 7. I could see both of them going unbroken on the Hosa bar. Karen and Emma should be more of the powerful women. Like they should murder the sled. They should do good in the lift. Anybody could do good on event 5. Event 5, honestly, is probably the telltale of how the leaderboard is going to shake out. As far as the back and forth between little gymnast and big strength, right?
Yep.
You have Karen and Sarah. Sarah's the same category as Emma, I feel. And then you have Emma Tall.
Yeah.
And then you have Emma McQuaid and Jacqueline Dahlstrom, my same 2 that I have. The kind of polar opposites, and we'll see who does the best on game day.
Yeah.
But I think everybody could be jumbled up.
Jeff doesn't like my Sarah pick. I think these line up for her. That's really the rationale there. If Sarah is who we have come accustomed to, I think she'll be fine.
And Sarah is this is something funny that people don't know about her. She can do like 9 strict ring muscle ups in a row. That's a lot, guys. Not many girls can do that. And that tells me that ruck is going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
If I know that ruck is going to be fine, Linda, she's going to be great. The sled, she should be good. The snatches and running, she'll be whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not really going to predict that event, but she snatches 200 pounds. I think she snatched 203, 206 one year. Mm-hmm. Like, so she's going to be top 5 in that event, maybe top 10, not the worst. Like, all of those events go good. Event 6 does not go good. She is one of the better handstand push-uppers, and I think she'll be fine on the rope climbs. I don't know if she can pirouette 6 times. Like I said this on the Sevon podcast, I could see her be in the lead, beating everybody, killing everybody, and then get to the last pirouette and take 3 minutes to do the last pirouette. I could see that happening to Sarah. And then event 7, she'll be right up there with the top. This weekend stacks up really, really well for Sarah. I don't think we'll have a Katrin-like performance, but I do think she'll be kind of comfortably in the way I had Lazar Djukic. I think that's how it'll happen with Sarah.
Jeff, I didn't pick Fikowski because he was trending down, but I picked Sarah. Make it make sense. Sarah's been injured.
Great comment.
No. So Sarah's been injured, and she's coming back. We've talked about Brent. He finished 16th.
Did you pick Bethany? Did you pick Bethany?
No, because she was hurt, and we weren't sure about where she was.
And then trying to come back.
Trying to, yes. We've seen Sarah in competition back at Wadapalooza. So I think she's on the swing. She doesn't have any lingering issues. So she comes in with the right mindset and performs like she should. I think she can compete with these and finish right there in the middle of the pack of qualifying spot.
And I agree 100% with Brian. I think I have her 8th. I might. Oh no, I had her
all the way down to 10.
Oh man. I agree with what Brian said, even though that's where I have her. But I didn't have Matilda Garn, so I had to put her up there. And I think Turi Helgadottir is basically Cole Sager as a European woman. That girl always finds a way to get it done. Yeah. She could win event 6. She could win event 2. She is going to be the home run hitter of the women. And she has a beautiful snatch. She does Olympic lifting a ton. That's her second sport, if you will. I think she was trying to be on the Iceland national team for a while. So no, she can't snatch 210, but she's going to snatch a lot. Like she's going to. I wouldn't surprise me if she's top 10 in the snatch. Yep. And she's a person who could win event 5 too. Event 2, event 5, and event 6, because Turi's fast. Especially in the sprint. She's not the most endurance, but she is sprinty. I think Turi's going to be. I'm jealous of where Brian has her because I feel like I should have her higher than where I do.
How high did he have her? Is she up in the 4th, 5th, 6th?
Talking about
me? Oh, 8th. Yeah.
I agree with your Sarah and Turi picks. That's just where I have them. Taylor Howe is my shot in the dark. I think she'll be great on the snatch. I think I saw her doing legless rope climbs and handstand push-ups on Instagram, so I'm buying into that a little bit because that's where she wouldn't be good. I have no idea how she'll do on event 2. She should be able to pull that sled good. She should be good at Linda. She's my shot in the dark. It could go really badly for me. This is my Lionel Franco pick. And that didn't pay off. I found out Lionel he didn't have a full deck of cards because he was hurt a lot before the semifinal. Wish I knew that beforehand. But this is my Lionel Franco pick. Okay. So it could go really good. I'm hoping it does. It could go bad. That's what it is.
I have a little typo there. It's not Sola Sigmundsdottir. It's Sola Sigurdardottir. Yeah.
Sigurdardottir.
Yeah. And so I think she's I went back and forth with her going in and out of the list. See of those who I didn't have in, I think just from her being in there, training with Annie day in, day out, I think will help her this past year. So I have her returning to the games. I'm a little concerned about Tyler's 10th pick, Leah Storen. If somebody's gonna get stuck on the sled,
8, 10, and 11 are all trash. I'll bet you something that none of those 3 make it.
Ohana, Leah, and Claudia.
Yeah.
I'm not betting. I'm not taking that bet. Tyler can take that one.
Tyler, are you in the comments? Let's make a bet. I actually really like your picks this week, Brian. You don't have any picks that I'm like, there's no way.
Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's solid thought behind them. Like that Brent Fikowski thought. I don't know why you convinced yourself of that. But I like your picks this week.
If he had done the same again, if he'd done the same as he did in the games, and I had Colton do well and Grieshaber, he would have been right there on the bubble when I was saying to be out. But he crushed it. It didn't even matter.
When it jumps.
He did everything. He did everything right and made me look dumb.
At what point did you start to feel like that was a bad call?
After number 2.
Not after event 1?
No, because I knew that was probably going to be one of his better ones.
What, first?
I didn't. I didn't think he was going to take first. I was thinking maybe top 5, but then he was going to struggle on the muscle ups and kind of give a lot of it back and be in the middle of the pack and then kind of fade.
Are you less convinced of Chandler Smith after the semifinal? He still made it comfortably, but I mean, he did about what Chandler's expecting.
I'm definitely not as high as I was. I think if he was going into a Castro programmed games, I'd like him better. But I just don't think he has the skills, the gymnastic skills to be up there where he needs to be going forward. So I thought he was going to have more power, more explosiveness, and really shine on that stage, and he didn't. He didn't have his highs were not as high as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
So, last one's out. Man Anges. I typed in Sola Sigmund's daughter again. That's pretty bad. Amy Kringle.
Sorry, Sola. I know that your last name's Sigurd, the daughter.
Yeah.
He spelled Lazar wrong too, so it's okay.
Yeah, that was a bad typing day. Amy Kringle. What are you seeing from her to be in that?
I think she's going to have some home runs. I think Amy could win. Even I don't know. I don't think she could win event 5, but I do think she'll be in the running.
Mm-hmm.
And then event 1, she's a bigger girl. She's good at endurance. Right there. That's event 1. So I think she'll have some home run hits, and I think she'll have some double play outs.
That's what I'm afraid of, is that those are going to be enough to kind of keep her down. I think
that's why I have her 13th. I'm sure she's like 18th for you if you had to pick.
Somewhere in the
around
top
about
20. Man and Anganese, I was impressed by what she did at Rogue after the first couple events. I mean, she had a very, very strong showing there. Super strong and powerful, but not skill-based strong.
I think her lows are going to be really, really low.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she'll have her strengths and be great, but I'm talking 250th. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think her handstand gymnastics are the strongest. Running is definitely not her strongest. I don't even think the snatch is. Like, if it was power cleans all day long, she'd be top 5. But this just doesn't suit her skill set. But I think she's going to have some strength events that she does very, very well in. And it's top 5, 45th, top 10, 40th, back and forth. I am surprised about Tyler and Andrea Solberg. Her muscle ups, I'm afraid she will not get through the muscle up complex on those. That's always been a sticking point of her. So that had me push her down even further down.
Dang, he's got Turi and Emma out.
Turi's been there year in, year out.
Well, Emma, I think Emma's gonna make it easy. I mean, I know I have Emma up like the highs of all of us, but it was rough. That's like having Colton out.
Yeah. What did Emma finish in Wadapalooza? She was pretty high up there, I think.
Give me a second.
But I think this fits Emma's skill set. I can't believe Turi would be upset by some of these newcomers that Tyler had. So we'll bash him for a little bit. Fifth, yeah. So you can't tell me. I know it's a different field there, but
Leah Storen.
There's no way Leah Storen beats. Yeah. There's no way Leah beats Emma and Turi. So, any last thoughts on this one?
Nope.
Before we go to the Asian men that don't have a whole lot there. Again, if anybody knows a lot of the Asia athletes, more power to you. But we've lost a lot over the last year.
What's your reasoning for not having Arthur Semenoff? You don't like him because he's Russian?
No, I went back to I think Ortiz again. I went and looked at. I went to the quarterfinals and saw where they were good and bad.
Oh, this quarterfinal argument again.
I mean, do you know enough of them about them and their skill set to say whether one is going to be better than the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arthur Semenoff's going to be better than the other two. Watch it happen.
Any reason? Any reason?
So Archer's made it before. He's made it to the games before, and if he's made it, he's beaten these guys to make it. Fair. Also, so he's already fitter, if not like they're around the same fitness, and the events were a little bit better, right? But he came out on top of that group. Now, also his coach is Nick Fowler. I believe in Nick Fowler as a coach. I think he's one of the best coaches out there. Same with Kotler. Okay, so that is my reasoning. If he's already there, and then I think his coach is better than the other guys, I think he will continue to be there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ant Haynes, I get that pick. I get it a lot. He is not a very powerful man. Therefore, I think Mortez is going to get him. That was all the thought that I put into it.
Yeah, I didn't like a couple of Semenov's performances earlier in the season. Again, that's a different story. Yeah. And so I put Ortiz up there, and I'm picking Ant. He's been to the games when everybody else did in 2019. So
I'll make you a deal. If Archer Semenoff wins, you are not allowed to use quarterfinals to look to make your picks ever again.
All right, deal.
I feel like I've proven that. I feel like I've proven that if he wins, because that's kind of a big deal, right?
If he wins, okay, deal. Speaking of deals, on Friday I am going to be doing event 1 with a buddy down the road. He has a sled. It's not the magic carpet, but it is a sled. So
it's going to be way better than the magic carpet.
It is. So yes, I'll feel better about myself because it's not magic carpet, but we'll load it up and get somewhat of the same stimulus. And then on the women's side, you have the two obvious picks of Sayer Kaya and Dewan Jung. I have Dewan. I have Shahad Budebs. It's kind of just a
Why do you have her, Brian? What about Shahad makes you ready to make this prediction?
I believe she's a games athlete from 2019, so she's been there before.
Okay, there we go.
I'll use my quarterfinal argument again. So we'll see. She did well in event 5.
All right, I feel better. I almost want to make that bet with Seher, but it's all right. I'm done with the Asian.
Do you know anything about Yuko Sakuyama?
Yeah, she's Japanese.
Okay. Yeah, the Asian one.
I'll be real. Asian women and Asian men. An Ant, because you're not Asian. But y'all need to step it up.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy for you guys, and I hope you do well in the games. But you're not good enough for me to research you, and I mean that in the best of ways. So I want you to get better because I want to find out about you. I want you to make noise. I want you to win events. But when the 11th person in North America, West or East, I know so much more about this person than you. It's because they're better than you. And I want y'all to represent and make CrossFit great again in Asia. Or great for the first time, I guess. Make CrossFit great.
The difficult part is you look at the 30 men and women that are going to be out there, and you just wonder how many are going to make it through the ring muscle up complex. How many are going to be able to bench?
Oh, I think it'll be sad.
It's when half the field or more isn't able to do both of those things. It's going to be a lot of standing around for heats.
Think about this. This is a competition for who's going to be 39th and 40th at the CrossFit Games.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know it sounds really mean, but is it mean if it's true? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Travis says he doesn't think they should be at the games. No, I disagree with that. I think you need to have that representation.
So would you rather have Danny Spiegel, or Yuko Sokiyama? You don't even know anything about her. Which one would you rather have? I don't even like Danny Spiegel. I've made it clear, and I would rather have Danny Spiegel.
I think they need to have one. I think CrossFit messed up by keeping two in Asia. I think it's good to have at least one representative in each region. Yes. That's the only way you actually do get those regions to grow. With that said, I'd rather see Danny Spiegel than either of those two. Right? You take anybody that's probably been cut in North America on the men's side, I'd rather see them over.
I appreciate it, Travis. It's Travis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Travis.
Yeah. Yep. John and I are on the same page. So, it'll be a tough one to watch, but I mean,
are you gonna watch it? Did we watch South America?
I watched the heats that like the final heat of.
Did you watch Africa?
I watched more Africa than I did South America.
Just because of Taylor?
For Taylor, and also it was the first time to see what was actually
going to be and what
the times and how they were doing, what the sled looked like.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, so
well, I will not be watching. I'll see the placements.
Well, it's such a far time. I don't know if they're going to be live streaming it. Maybe the only ones that don't live stream. I've not seen anything about that one yet.
And Europe's going to throw us really off. I'm really, really frightened. Are you going to join us for that?
I have no idea. That's a rough one. The post game show will be decent, but the kickoff and after the first event will be a little rough. So I don't know what Savon has in store, but
he doesn't know either.
I think Pedro would join if he can. We need another European correspondent, I think.
Craig Ritchie.
Throw Craig on there?
Yeah. You think Craig will come on? I know they don't like each other, but
I don't know. Maybe.
He might.
He could. What? Grow their fan base.
Yeah.
Some cross-pollination.
I don't know if either one of them want to do that.
I mean, it's a shame that it's going to be happening live while we're asleep, or most people here in the States are asleep, because I think the European semifinal.
Well, they can wake up to it. They don't have to watch.
You'll be able to wake up and see the last heat or last event, I think, throughout. So
I tell you who might come on. If y'all wanted them, the My Life is Josie. It's Josie guy from Instagram.
Yeah.
And he'd give you firsthand about Gabby because he's in Gabby's camp.
Laura.
And Laura. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, he'd be a great guy to.
Yeah, he's been traveling around with them all over the place. So he knows two of the podium most likely podium finishers there. So
if y'all want
insight.
European content, there's nobody better on Instagram. What's his his name for sure, Brian? It's My Life is Josie or something like that.
Yep. Where is it? Yeah, Joseph Samakian.
Yeah, but what's his Instagram at?
Life of Josie.
Life of Josie. Oh, you got it up there.
There it is, right there. So
probably the best guy for European content on Instagram.
And he was in Australia. So yeah, he captures a lot of great stuff. I'm sure he'll be doing the same while in Europe. So, all right, John, any last words?
No. You and Tyler still need to do your Tyler Christoffel workout. And I'm pretty sure you both owe me $20, but is that what it is?
Something like that, yeah.
I feel like we need to make this concrete before you guys like, oh, it's been so long. You know what I mean? I think I'm fine with just calling it $20. If it's more than that, it's okay. But you want me to text me? I'll text you my Venmo. We'll get that done. There's no bets this week, so
yeah.
I'll bet on Annie if you want to do that bet.
All right.
I think you have the better side on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's way more of a call for Annie to win than Laura to win. Yes, if I said, hey, I'll bet you Patrick Vellner wins, you're telling me I'm not in the minority on that?
Oh, you definitely were.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
I'll go 2-1 odds on $10.
Okay.
Yeah? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it.
So it's 10 for 20. If I win, it's 20. If you win, it's 10.
Yep. Okay. There it is. Annie
That's
versus Laura.
Big money bets over here on the barbell spin. If y'all looking for
that's right. Y'all need to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go beg for Travis to get some more sponsorship money. So make sure you go to vindicate.com, use code SPIN, save 15%. Help Travis out so he can help me out. So, all right, John, good one. Thanks again for joining, everybody. Head over to the Barbell Spin. We'll be covering everything, and we'll be back next week to see how we did. So hopefully Tyler will be feeling a little better. So. Do you want to I guess we'll recap, but do you want to do post semifinal games predictions? Yeah. Like, I know it's way far away, but the way too early games picks. Yeah, the way too early games predictions. We can do that. Yep. I'm down. There it is. We'll do top 20. Okay. Top 20 next week. We'll recap how well I did, how poorly Tyler did. John will be somewhere in the middle, and I think. Okay. This is what Brian is hoping for. Yes. And then we will give our way too early top 20 games picks heading into the games. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to talk about. Yep. All right, guys. See you next week.